EGM Network.
Welcome to Scouted Treasure Coast. Today we have Cathy Padgett from Veranda Fine Jewelry and Home Accessories.
Yes.
Plus her many other talents and hobbies that we're going to talk about today. So first question. And I don't know that I've ever gotten this actually correctly, but were you born and raised in Vero?
I was born and raised in Panama City, Florida.
Okay.
That's where my mom and dad and my grandparents, which is a lot of people.
A lot of people. Okay. And so then you moved to Vero in what year?
I was in Vero in high school. My dad was in the Holiday Inn business at the time. Besides Holiday Inns, he was in other developments, condominiums, houses. And we spent the summers in Vero Beach in 1963, 64, 65. Above the petite shop. The people that owned the petite shop offered it to us to live in while we were building the Holiday Inn, which was great.
Okay.
Her name was Mrs. Byerly, just to give you some history.
Okay.
They became friends of my mom and dad, and it was a cute apartment upstairs. It was 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, big living room, and we had access to the stores adjacent to it. You could walk on the top of the roofs, and watch people walk by. That was sort of the activity at the time. Vero Beach was a little bit slow. And my dad built that Holiday Inn. I don't know the exact date. I wish I could tell you the exact date, but he built that. And that's why we came to Vero Beach.
Okay. And I know you've told the story, and I'm going to have you tell it again because this is kind of like leading into. So, how did you get into the jewelry business, really?
You really want the real story?
I really want the real story.
Okay, the real story. As a little girl, my dad, I refer to him a lot, don't I?
Mm-hmm. That's okay. I refer to mine a lot too, so that's okay.
My dad built houses. He had this little subdivision, and he built all the houses in the subdivision. And I want to say I had to be 6 or 7 years old. I might have said earlier 5 or something like that, which I don't think I was that young. Anyway, I was bored. My grandfather smoked cigars, so he would always give me his cigar boxes. And one day I just decided to go through the neighborhood with my cigar box in hand and ask everybody there that lived there, because my dad built all of their houses, if they had any jewelry they didn't want. And a lot of people gave me a bunch of jewelry, and I put it in the cigar box, and I went home and I put price tags on all of the jewelry they gave me, and everybody bought it all back.
Interesting.
And that's really the truth. My dad never knew this story, or my mom probably.
Okay.
Anyway, that was sort of the beginning.
All right. So then fast forward to how did Veranda start? Because what are we, 40 years now?
It's nearly 50.
Okay.
Veranda started in 70. I don't know the exact date. I wish I could tell you the exact date. It's on the sidewalk in front of the store, and I'll look at it later to tell you the exact date. Anyway, Veranda started probably as a result of being in Vero Beach. I am and was very well aware of the jewelry industry and all of the designer jewelry in the world, basically. And nobody in Vero Beach, none of the jewelers, were at that time focused on designer jewelry, what was trending, what was stylish. Mm-hmm. And I just knew that I had a great opportunity to introduce, all of the jewelry designers that I had at the time. One was David Yurman, which I'm sure everybody's aware of. Years ago, David Yurman did an event at Windsor. He came to Windsor, and there was a big polo match, and he was there as a guest for the polo match, and he was a guest at Veranda. And that's when I had the store down the street, and I can't tell you exactly the location, but it was a small location. And then the building I'm in today, which is 3325 Ocean Drive, became available. And at that time, the real estate market was a little bit depressed, believe it or not. And I was able to acquire that building. I was just really able to acquire that building at a very, very good price. I also, at the time, it sort of looked like everything else on Ocean Drive, which was, little tiny, insignificant looking buildings, quite frankly. And I hired Peter Moore to help me do an architectural design, which we did. And as it stands today, I think it's one of the prettiest buildings on Ocean Drive. And it's been that way for probably maybe 35 years. I wish I knew more dates and times for you.
Was it always pink?
Pink happened probably in the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
At one time, it was a color I like, which is kind of odd. It was chocolate brown, but the windows were coral colored. So I'm very color conscious. I'm very still going to be very style conscious. And I had to change the windows out, which was a good thing. And one day I just was shopping in Palm Beach, and which I do a little bit. And I was in a store, and I won't mention names, it doesn't matter. And their shopping bag was this fabulous pink color. Fabulous pink color. So I grabbed the bag. Well, I think I bought something, put something in the bag. And then I took the bag to the paint store and said, match it. And that's how the color came.
And that was that.
Yeah.
So how many designers do you have at the store? Jewelry designers.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Probably 12.
Do you still have David Yurman?
Actually, no. David Yurman, I can't tell you exactly when, but years ago, and we did a great business with David Yurman. We were probably... He
has all his retail stores now.
He wanted everything to be concentrated into his own stores or into big department stores. I didn't qualify, which is fine. I was happy. And they, I was very successful with it until they decided they wanted it to be in their stores or department stores.
Okay.
So there you have it.
So let's talk about, there's a lot of trends or fashion trends between the mine diamonds, specifically since Taylor Swift, Travis gave her one for her engagement ring.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about what the difference with the old mine diamonds? I don't know, I guess, is there new diamonds? And then obviously I know then there's the lab grown diamonds as well.
Yes. Today, I think the trend, even before Taylor Swift, and that's when I carried a brand that you're very familiar with. Anyway, and I say anyway too much. People are trending, and I don't even like the word trending. People are recognizing
that's a good word.
The beauty in some of their estate grandmother's pieces or great grandmother's pieces, and some of the diamonds are mine cut and they're rose cut, and they're all different cuts from the Victorian era forward, and actually way before the Victorian era. And instead of and those particular diamonds today are the word is trending again. I hate to say it, but those diamonds are very, very, very desirable. And believe it or not, some of the people that I do business with that have a lot of diamonds, that's their business, they're recutting some of their new diamonds to mimic the old cut diamonds, that's incredible. It's usually in the reverse. A lot of people years previously were probably taking their old cut diamonds and having them recut into new modern cut diamonds. And now the trend is in reverse.
It's in reverse.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they've talked about it's almost like in the beginning of the year, 2016 was back in. So we're 2026, and now it's like everybody's going back to 2016.
What did we do in 2016?
I don't remember, but that's kind of been one of the new things for 2026, which I don't remember what I was doing in 2016, but I guess I have to go back and pay attention a little
Well, I
bit
think
more.
I'm going to do that too. I keep a calendar. I have calendars of the last 25 years, paper calendars. I know that's kind of odd to a lot of people. Everybody likes to go and
I
do
like the
everything
paper.
on their computer or on their phone. I can't even do an appointment on my phone. I don't do that. I do all of my appointments on my paper calendar, and I like that. And I can go back. I can say, okay, I need to go back into 2019 or whatever and see. I'm serious.
Yes, well, it's a good...
And
that's-
it's written.
Yep, that's good to
So-
have.
I go back and look at things, of course, passwords and all that other stuff, but a lot of important data is on those paper calendars or paper events.
So I've also noticed, and it's like we talked about, it trends in reverse or forward. The trend or what's desirable today is we've gone back to gold.
Absolutely.
A lot, there's been times before where it was platinum
Or silver.
or silver.
Yeah.
So why do you think the trend has gone to gold and away from, let's say, platinum and silver?
I'm going to say something to you that I think, and I really believe this. Years ago, and as I said, I've been in this business a long time, since I was 5 or 6. That's a long time. A long time. Anyway, I've always been a believer in yellow gold. Like today, I think yellow gold is, I'm going to say it's more day wear, more day to night.
Okay.
I think yellow gold really looks best. Most people can wear yellow gold, where a lot of people can't wear white gold. Now, you'll see a lot of like engagement rings or eternity bands, which those are diamond bands or with diamonds all the way around. A lot of times those would be white gold or platinum. But for years, I think my yellow gold has been my most popular gold. I think it's, I just love it. I don't design jewelry. I do a little bit, but not a lot, for sale. But I'm always talking to my designers that I do business with, and I'll say to them, I like turquoise with yellow gold. And I will ask them to make some pieces specifically for Veranda. I also, another company I do a lot of business with, they do a lot of emerald jewelry, and they always want to put it in white gold. And I'm thinking, that's just wrong. Emeralds
Should be. I think
love yellow gold.
Yeah, I
they
think they
just
should be.
look.
Yes, I agree.
They look warmer. They look better. Plus, it's not so formal. I see most of the jewelry that I carry is day to night. I mean, it's not like you're going to wear it during the day and then at dinner you're going to change and go into something different. I like the fact that it's day to night.
So explain to me about, and I've read and seen this a lot lately as well, as Victorian era.
Yes,
So that seems to...
that's huge.
Okay, so
Huge.
can you explain that?
I don't know if I can explain it as much as I sort of am living it to a certain extent. People, a lot of people inherit jewelry from their mother or father. A lot of people, ladies and guys, inherit jewelry from their grandmothers.
Right.
And for many, many, many years, I think it was sort of not worn, or the recipient didn't feel it was stylish,
Right.
or once again they wanted to take the stones out and remake it into something modern or whatever. But I think today you're seeing a huge trend in antique jewelry from Victorian era up. I happen to I love that, and I'm bringing in a huge collection of antique jewelry into Veranda, just because I feel, and I've talked to the customers a lot. I'm sort of the
Right.
I'm the greeter.
Yes.
So I talk to people and discuss that. I mean, it's fun to talk about their grandmother's jewelry or their mother's jewelry. And I've had I've had many customers bring in pieces from their family just because they want to show me. and I might have knowledge about those pieces to be able to share with them as far as value or style, or just the fact that I'll say, just put it all on. I mean, just wear it. It's fabulous. I would wear new with old, which I do.
Right. So, and I might be wrong. I think
I might have told you that. I think you have some pieces that I love.
Yes.
That I'm encouraging you to wear.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yes, you are. One of the things that I've noticed about your store that I really like is, and I wonder, is it trending, or is it something people are interested in, or is it that you have the foresight to see it? And it kind of goes back to what you were talking about when you opened your store and how you saw designers and the desirability. And a lot of jewelry stores, they make their own pieces. But it seems to be that we are starting to see more designers trending again. Is that correct? Or
absolutely. My designers that, as I said, I've done this for so long, and I think I'm really have a lot of knowledge in that industry, and I also have knowledge in knowing what I think ladies or people like. All the brands that I carry are exclusive to Veranda between Orlando and Palm Beach, and that was intentional. That you can't have any of those brands in any other, in Vero Beach for sure, but you're not going to find them. You're going to find them mostly in Palm Beach or Orlando, and that was my intent, my request with all of my designers for the exclusivity,
right?
And also. It's just a great way for me to be able to promote and to market their brands, and I believe that's been the way I do business with everybody.
Are you seeing an increase in designers calling you with what's happened between like Saks and Neiman Marcus and Bergdorf Goodman?
Are you aware of what's happened?
I'm not. I mean, I understand that they are going bankrupt.
How about they're not paying their bill? Well, you know what? I don't even want to go into that. I'm just going to say, because I don't want to get sued.
Right.
Of course, if you got to, I don't know how they're going to sue when they're getting sued. Anyway. Right.
But are you seeing an increase in designers looking for a place to put their goods?
Yeah, because they're not getting paid. The way, as I understand it, I got to be careful. As I understand it, a lot of the jewelry companies, not only jewelry, but clothes with everybody.
Right.
When you say you're a big name, a huge, huge name, and a very recognized name, when you don't reach out to those people, those particular companies reach out to you, kind of like, your Allah. Anyway, and they determine the status, they determine when they will be paid, they determine so many different things. I mean, they kind of like rule the roost when it comes to a lot of these companies and tell them that, we're going to pay you maybe in 30, 60, 90 days or whatever it is, or blah, blah, blah. And a lot of that's not happening. And that's what makes, and I know for a fact, and I'm not going to mention names, it doesn't matter. I know for a fact that one of the biggest jewelry designers in the country, and I happen to carry the brand, pulled up to one of those stores and hauled all the jewelry out of there that they were not paid on. And yes, I see that. And a lot of people are calling me. Well,
it's, I think, benefiting the smaller business with that happening is that the local or smaller business owner like yourself is now starting to benefit, going away from, let's say, like more of the monopolies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's giving you a little bit more purchasing power.
Yes, it does.
And actually giving you availability to more brands. And I think the designers are starting to see that might not be such a great idea to have all your eggs in one basket, such a big basket.
True.
And kind of spread it around.
I think you're going to see, too, what's happened. And, the whys of all these other companies that are going a little bit sideways, they're huge.
Yes.
They're just huge.
I mean, they've gotten so big they can't move.
And I will say that I want and hope we give everybody has everything sort of in a different city, possibly. I'm feeling that the personal service that I give and my girls give, I mean, I'm going to go to the end of the line to make somebody happy within reason.
Right.
Within reason. Did you like that disclaimer? Yes. Within reason. And I read that from a company up north that's, I'm not going to mention their name, but they're huge. It's like one of the biggest businesses, independent businesses in the country. And they have a book that talks about service, what they do for their customer. And I wish I could tell you who it was. I'll tell you later, okay? Because you'll like reading what they do. Right. They go to the end of the world to make their customers happy, and their customers are faithful. And that to me is, I love what I'm selling, but I also love the service that I'm giving. And I think that's key. And a lot of stores seem to forget about that. I mean, they just sort of think just because I have this, and this, that, I don't have to give good service. You better give good service.
Right. No.
And also, the one thing I think that is important about today being in business, besides it's difficult, people are getting out of those. They don't want to go to the malls. They don't want to go to the big stores. They don't want. They want the personal service. They like shopping in boutiques.
I agree.
They like shopping.
Right. No, I agree.
They like a relationship. As I said, I keep pushing that. But they also like small town boutiques.
Yes, I agree.
So I'm very lucky.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Have you had any issues with tariffs?
Everything I have in my store is tariffed.
So this is a funny story. Yesterday, we get 2 bills from FedEx from something that that Jackson ordered over the summer, and they're just sending the tariff bill now.
Wow.
Each one was like $100.
That's a lot of money.
$200 for something that I don't even know if it cost that much. So I told, Chris was like, what is going on? So have you seen any of that? Because they did kind of talk about that some of these companies, like I think the furniture,
they're getting hit hard. And, people don't understand where everything comes from in this world.
Right.
Like
I agree.
Diamonds are cut in India. Did you know that? Stones are cut in India. There's certain things that go from one country to the next. India's getting hit real hard with tariffs. And so it's, I got a bill the other day from a guy Indian guy that has tariffs on the bill. And I politely said, by the way, these have been sitting in your New York office and I'm not paying a tariff, so you can just have them back. Mm-hmm. But yes, it is affecting the cost of everything.
Okay.
And I think until things settle down, whatever that means, it's gonna be there, and we're gonna have to adjust to it, and that's the way it is. I mean, that's sort of the purpose of tariffs, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm. So to get into one of your other hidden talents or many talents, you're building. Yes. You're in the construction business.
Yes.
So you've probably seen a lot of tariffs.
Have
you, seen them all yet? Or is it sort of like
it's
a little bit of a warning that this you could see something 6 months later?
I don't think I'm going to see anything 6 months later, but there is one particular person that I do business with that I've done business with for 20 years or so. And I don't want to mention who and what country, but I hope we can figure out not how to work around the tariffs, but I hope that the tariffs go away for this particular project, because it's an expensive project for me and it's part of this house that I'm building. Mm-hmm. And you got to have what I'm talking about. You cannot not have what I'm talking. I can't go to. I could go to alternate suppliers for this particular part of this house. And I don't want to. I'm used to this guy, and I'm used to his work, and I'm used to his talents, which makes it it's the way I like to do business.
Right. But it's an added cost that you have to think about.
it could be a really big added cost. And actually, he's on the top of my list to call today.
So how did you get into that you were going to go start building how? Like, how did all that happen?
That happened probably. I told you my dad was a developer and a contractor.
So you always had that little bit in your blood.
I always had it. I built my home, my first house years ago on Sandfly Lane in Old Riamar when I was 20-something years old. That's a long time ago. And I enjoyed that. And I love to draw. I know that I love to draw plans. And actually, a lot of people do computer CAD and all that stuff. I don't do that. I draw. I hand draw everything I do. And I enjoy that. I mean, it's kind of like, it's just a very, very interesting, it's not even a hobby. It's actually a business. And I built my first house years ago, and then I had an opportunity to remodel a house at Johns Island in Vero.
Okay.
And I just decided I was just going to do it. And I just did it, which it was very successful. I sold it immediately, and I said, okay, I can do this. And I built another one from scratch. The first house, I think, was a remodel. And then I did another one from the ground up, as I call it. And that was very, very successful. And I've done a few projects at Johns Island. I did a small island house condo. And I've got 3 or 4 more projects that I've done, and I've been very, very lucky. And I think what I do when I build these houses, and I forgot about a couple in Riamar, which I can't forget because that's my home. But anyway, I did a house, and it was beautiful, and it was finished. And I walked in it one day, and all I heard was my voice echoing. It was just echo, echo, echo. And I said, well, this is so beautiful, and it's so not warm. It's so not a home. It's just not what. So I spoke to some people about staging the house, and then I got the details on doing that, and it was X plus X amount of money every month. And so I decided I'd take the X and the 2 or 3 months of X and put that together and buy a bunch of furniture. So I furnished that house, and I think that made people feel, well, first of all, they could have bought the house with the furniture in it. So, and it was beautiful. It was very well done. It was some great pieces of furniture, some great antiques. I'm sort of an antique collector to a certain extent. And it just made the house feel so warm. Plus, I use real art. I don't use, stuff from places that kind of looks not so fabulous. And that sold that house. And the fun part about that one is the people didn't want the furniture. They said, we have too much. So I picked that furniture up and moved it to the next house that I was in the middle of building. And the people bought it with that furniture, and it was fabulous. I mean, I'm very proud of those houses. And I actually reached out to one lady and I said, hey, if you don't want that dining table, I'll buy it back from you.
Okay.
So,
well, I think this is also a market for that too, where people they're coming, and it makes it a lot easier when all they have to do is move their clothes.
Well, they can close on a house in a week's time, and if they are new to the area and they don't know the designers in town, they don't know anything about it. It usually, realistically, it probably takes a good 6 months to furnish a house properly.
Right. And
that's dealing with getting the furniture ordered if it has to be ordered, getting the fabrics to do the panels, for the windows. And a lot of people, in today's world and in the market that I build these houses, people have money and they don't have the time to do it, and they don't want the time to do it. And all they want to do is just come and live and be happy. And actually, one of the prettiest houses, they're all pretty, I think. Anyway, one of my best houses until the next best house. The gentleman bought it from a video. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
I'm talking furnished to the nines. The whole deal.
He liked it. He just needed to walk in and move his clothes.
He bought it from the video, and I met him, and he had closed on it before he came to the house. I mean, that happened very quickly. And he showed up and he just looked around and he was so amazed. He said, "Oh my God, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen," which
That made you feel good.
that did it. So, and I thought, my back doesn't hurt that badly now that, and Amy and I, my assistant, she and I, we
Move
shove the furniture.
Okay.
We hang the artwork. We do
All right.
everything that we can do physically. We do have help from some guys that are, muscles, but we do it. We do all the work, and I like that.
Well, Cathy, you've obviously been very successful over the many
A long
years in the
time.
different interests that you've had. I'm wondering if you were talking to a young entrepreneur, say like myself or someone else, what advice, like let's say like your top 3, would you say?
Advice? Wow.
That you look back and you say, I knew I had to.
That's probably the most difficult question I've ever heard, because I think there's so many ways for young people to, with AI that's happening, with so many different other areas in the world besides retail, which is what I am. I'm a retailer. I sell jewelry. I build houses. That's what I know. I got to buy something to sell something. So advice would be, just if you believe you can do something, you got to do it. You just got to go for it. And don't let people tell you no. And don't let people second guess you.
Right.
I think that's probably, I think you just have to go for it. If you don't, it's like you never tried.
Right. Hard work. I know you work hard.
And
Hard
I
work.
like to work.
Work hard.
Yes,
And-
as you do, my
Yes.
friend.
Yes, and relationships.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
It's fun to meet you,
Yes, you too.
Alex.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
That's the
My
difference.
sidekick. I'm going to get her
Yes.
on here one time. One time she's going to get on here. You hear that, Alex? One time you're going to be on
Where are
here.
you, Alex? No, but that's fabulous. I mean, I'm so proud to be. I'm so proud to know you.
Well, thank you. Me too. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you coming on today. I just want to thank Cathy Padgett and Veranda Fine Jewelry and Home Accessories. And what is the name of your
I
company?
don't have a name of the company. Somebody reached out to me one day and said, what's the name of your company? How do I contact you? And what's your web page? And I said, huh?
We need to work on that.
Well, you know what?
Gotta
There's
do work
something.
on
Yeah,
something.
there's a lot of things that I need to work on, and that is definitely one of them.
All right.
I don't have a name for the company. I mean,
Okay.
it's like just me.
Well, we got to come up with that. So, but anyways, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for coming
And-
to get me.
Yes.
because I would have been
Yes,
lost. You know
and
that.
thank you for everything, and thank you everybody for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me, Amy.
You are so welcome. We'll see you next week on Scouted Treasure Coast.